Celebrity True or False.
You can't handle the truth.
Okay, here we go. Celebrity True or False with Mary Lynn Rajskub here. First up, true or false, Mary Lynn, you made your on-screen debut as a pizza delivery person in Weezer's The Good Life music video.
That is true.
Is that true?
Yeah.
How did we wind up in that?
There's a husband and wife directing team. They went on to direct big films such as Little Miss Sunshine.
There you are.
This was one of their first big projects when they were starting out doing music videos, and they were comedy fans, and they in the local scene, and they asked me to do it. It was the best.
And you looked like you were disgusted with the pizza.
Yes,
right there
I'm very good. I'm early on in my career, it was a lot of scowling and angst, and it really worked for me. What can I say?
Certainly in that regard. Next up, true or false, on 24, when Chloe was on the computer, you were actually typing messages of affirmation to yourself.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Is this true?
You know, you got to do what you got to do to get through the day. I don't know how to type. I was fake typing. I know nothing about computers. I know nothing about impending terrorist attacks. And every once in a while, I just had to type, "Hey, you're doing a good job."
Is that what you were literally typing?
Love and light surrounds you. Don't take Kiefer's intensity so personally. He likes you. He's busy acting right now. You gotta help yourself get through the day. It can be scary.
Sure.
Yeah.
Certainly when you're running out of time.
You're running out of time.
Pretty much.
When the crap's hitting the fan.
So this is true that you were doing that?
Sure.
Okay. I never once saw Jack Bauer go to the bathroom.
No.
Eat anything.
Correct.
Or have a problem with his cell phone reception.
Correct.
Did that happen? Right? I mean, I've seen almost every episode.
I like that we're
of
talking
24.
about this 15 years after the show is aired.
You have no idea. We find this. I find this fascinating.
I know. Let's get into it.
That's right.
Finally, someone's talking about it.
I never saw it once.
You know,
so you're playing a...
Okay, so we were on I entered in on season 3, a massively popular TV show. So I did a lot of like press in the, where a lot of the producers, we would all be on the same, what am I trying to say, panel.
Okay, yeah.
And they would get this question, and I'll quote one of our producers. I don't remember which one said it. He said, it's not exciting to watch that. We want to make a show where you want to see what happens next. So we cut out. We don't think it's exciting or fun or pertinent or heart-stopping to watch Jack Bauer stop and eat a sandwich. That's not our show. So we took the liberties of not having any of that.
I don't know. I would think that as the time's ticking down and, we're running out of time.
Wait, he's at the drive-thru?
Well, no. Where's Jack?
Come on.
Hurry up.
Where's Jack? And he's, indisposed.
Hey, I'm with you. I went to art school. Let's do 8 hours of him sleeping. I'm all in.
I'm not saying we would watch him sleep. I'm just saying at some point, we can't get through because it bad cell reception. Like there would have to be that moment.
You're suggesting that as a plot line. Why isn't there? I think there were moments like that of people not being able to get through.
Exactly.
But definitely, we visited the White House 15 years ago.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
We talked to a lot of real government workers who were like, we could never do anything close to what you all are doing on that show. We don't have the capability.
What a bummer.
Oh.
Is
good
it,
TV.
Is it any truth to a 24 movie that's in the making right now? What do you look at me like that for? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Is that the answer we want?
I don't know.
Breaking news. Can I tweet that out real quick?
They don't tell me that. Yeah, tweet that out really quick.
All right, next up.
They won't tell me.
Celebrity true or false with Mary Lynn Rajskub here. True or false, you had a make-out scene with Tom Cruise in Magnolia that got cut.
That is true.
Whoa.
Is that right?
Let's talk about that.
Yes, let's talk about that. It got cut?
So, do you remember the movie Magnolia? His character, so he's
kind of
giving
messed up.
a speech about how you manipulate women, and in his example of how to do that, it goes to what he's imagining a scenario, and I'm in that scenario. So he comes to the door, you're late. She's furious at you. she can't get a hold of you. You show up crying with cookies, and then you get the make out. So I made out with him, and he felt me up. And after every take, I jumped off the couch and went, "Did you guys see that stuff?" Like, I'm good when I'm in the scene.
Yes.
I'm not cool when I'm.
When they
not,
say cut?
Yeah.
That's
I'm not
the issue?
cool. And Tom Cruise cried real tears every take.
No kidding.
Yeah, he
no
would
kidding.
step away and do his actor stuff and come back.
He's a real actor.
What's the actor stuff look like? What is that?
It's private.
He's
Only for him to know. He went to the bathroom. That's all I can say.
Okay.
I don't
was
know.
like,
You
where's
do what you
Tom?
will.
Okay.
Where's Tom? He needs a minute.
Okay. Well, that's cool. So he would cry real tears.
Yeah.
And
Touch my real boob. That's a full A cup right there. So watch out.
So you got that going for you.
I got that going.
All right, two more. True or false, Mary Lynn? Garry Shandling called you out while filming a scene on the Larry Sanders Show that changed your approach to acting.
That is true.
What was that about?
You know, I've been very lucky that I feel like things come to me, like if it's not for me, I'll get fired or it won't work out. And also I was very lucky on that show because I was very green and I feel like I had just enough that I didn't lose my mind with overwhelm at all the amazing people that I was around. You know, like 1 or 2 scenes per episode. Okay, I'm not going to have a mental breakdown because I didn't really know what I was doing. But I did what I did to get the audition, which was just be my odd self on the show, do wardrobe. You know, it's not a huge stretch. I could be that person doing that job as talent booker on the Larry Sanders Show. But sometimes with acting, you got to actually do your job. And I had kind of a disconnect and we had a scene where he comes up to me, we're in the bullpen, we're getting coffee. I don't remember what the scene was, but I remember we're in the middle of a take and he just looks at me and he goes, "What are you thinking?" And I went, and I repeated whatever I say in the thing. He goes, "No, but what are you thinking? What are you thinking or feeling right now?" And I went, "Oh." And in that moment, everything was clear to me. Oh, that's acting. You have stuff going on with the character that you know exactly what your intention is, you know exactly what your choice is, you know exactly what you're feeling. So, you know, because I had this naturalistic approach that was really working for me. I don't begrudge that, but it was almost like in that moment, time for you to grow up and become a real actor. And from that point on, you know, and certainly now it's really gratifying because it just gets, you know, stand up is similar to acting. I don't get tired of it because it just gets deeper and deeper with your life experience and your awareness of how to make choices as a character. So I was just kind of showing up, you know, without making the choices for the scene and for the character.
What was it like being on that set? Did you know you were part of something that was
Absolutely.
particularly special?
Yeah, I was kind of
like all-time great special, which it is, by the way.
Yes, I was beside myself. I loved every second of it. And, you know, again, I tried to not be completely intimidated and show up and be present. And like I said, how lucky was I to have somebody like Garry Shandling who believed in me. And I mean, I remember him trying to make me laugh, like catching my eye, and while he's talking to someone else, like, you know, like messing with them and seeing if it's making me laugh. So I feel like he's somebody who saw me and saw my potential. So yeah, I'm very lucky.
Yeah, I mean, and the documentary on his life that came out just a couple of years ago on HBO, he was a special guy.
Very.
And tortured a little bit inside. Yeah. But just that show, being the show within a show, and then just seeing the celebrities that would come on and play against their own I guess play against type or play type or be sort of stereotypical about.
And that takes his vision in order to see that, which is what makes it so funny. And I love him as a person to have that dichotomy and not take it so seriously, although he was a very serious person, but he could be both of those people, you know, a little bit of Larry Sanders, like egotistical and driven, but then incredibly humble and generous and sensitive. I love that he was truly all those things.
Who was the guest star that you recall that you were really psyched to meet and be around?
There were a lot. There was, I don't think I actually met Jim Carrey, but I remember him, David Duchovny. I remember when Drew Barrymore walked through, and that's my childhood,
right? From E.T.?
knowing her.
Yeah,
absolutely. And she just walked through and was just like surrounded by butterflies and rainbows, and it was that was magical.
That show just stands even today. Even today, that stands the test of time. That show.
Absolutely.
Truly amazing. Last one, true or false? You once hitched a ride on Harrison Ford's private plane.
I did.
What is this story about, please?
This story, I was working on a movie called Firewall, where what's the plot of Firewall? The bad guy takes his identity and takes his family and go into the bank and give me all the money or your family's dead. And I'm the assistant.
Here's the one-liner for that. A security specialist is forced into robbing the bank that he's protecting as a bid to pay off his family's ransom.
That's what I said, right?
Yeah. You got it.
I took the long way around. So I'm his assistant in that movie, and I'm the only person that he's losing his. It's me. It's really me. They've taken my identity, and so he's got to track me down to break through. And what do I do in this movie again?
Let's see. Hold on a second. You played Janet Stone.
All right. Well, let me get to the story.
Sorry.
I've lost the plot here.
Yeah.
I guess none of that matters. That's not pertinent to the question at all. Anyway, we're working closely. I have quite a few scenes with him.
Yes.
And one day we're done working on a Friday, and he says, "Are you going home for the weekend?" We're in Vancouver. I live in LA. I said, no. Are you? Yeah, would you like a ride? Okay. What are you talking about? And so I got a ride on his private jet, which actually wasn't his private jet. Someone else was piloting, as you do.
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes you borrow one.
Yeah.
But it was the greatest customs stopover, because you just stopped at some private area.
Sure.
Two giggly young agents come on. Oh, okay, Mr. Ford. Looks good. And then we take off again and go back to the U.S. There was a car waiting for. It was the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. Bye. See you Monday.
Was it just the two of you on the plane? That was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
We didn't talk the entire time.
Come on. Come on. What do you mean? You didn't talk to him at all?
I'm sure I went to the mall and bought a new outfit and a new bag and sat there.
You didn't go like Chris Farley and remember when you were Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
No, that's not my.
That's not your style, huh?
I sort of get by in life going with the flow, and if you don't want to talk, I'm not going to make you talk.
Wow. You're pleasant in an Uber, then. I'm sure your rating is high.
Damn.
Thank you. Good rating in the Uber.
Han Solo, that was sweet.
Yeah,
No, we talked a lot on set.
Okay.
I loved. He was hilarious. We had a lot of just moments
The
in
great thing is you
between.
got that flight back, too, right?
Did you get the flight back? For when you went
Great
back?
question. Let's follow through. Yeah.
Okay, good.
He couldn't make you fly coach.
I was about
No.
to say.
Was it just the two of you back?
Is it just the two of you back, too?
Why? I have no memory of the way back. Yeah.
wow.
Probably.
Yeah, they went warp
Probably.
speed. I don't know. I mean,
That's right. Well done.
damn. I guess what are you going to talk to about with Harrison Ford for 3.5 hours, except everything? But you also you don't want to put he gave you a ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
May as well have been a greyhound to him.
Celebrity.
See you later.
That's a great celebrity true or false.
He
Mary Lynn
probably
Rajskub.
felt my energy, I said, be cool.
Do you want a drink?
So you didn't make a Star Wars joke about his plane maybe making the Kessel Run in 20
I sure
minutes?
didn't.
Definitely.
Was this before he was the president? He could have went, get off my plane.
That's right. And it just kicked you right out.
We didn't do that either.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.